Okay, so today we're going to be discussing the correct facial proportions when drawing a human face. You can use a photo reference like I am today. I just got this out of a magazine. Or possibly looking at a live model in front of you, or if you want to do a self-portrait, you could look into a mirror. So I'm just going to take my reference over to the side. So I'm using Canson paper, 18 by 24. You can use whatever scale of paper you want. Today I'm using a larger scale to show you how I demonstrate this. I also have a kneaded eraser in case I need to make corrections, as well as Vine charcoal. You can also use pencil if you like. When you begin, you want to start with the shape of the head. A lot of people typically think of a circle, but the shape of a head is more of an egg shape, I want to say, an oblong shape. You can draw like an egg shape, or some people draw a circle first along with a triangular shape at the end of it. So however you want to do that. So egg shape or circle and then triangle at the end. I'm going to adjust this how everyone has different shapes of face. For the beginning, you want this type of shape. So then you want to put a vertical line just down the center of the face. Since our portrait is face forward, there's not really much of an angle to it. So once you do the vertical line, you want to divide the face into 3 different sections, which will be the exact same size for each section. So say for the first third, this will be the brow line from the top of the egg shape to a third down. You want to make a mark. So now whatever this measurement is, you want to repeat that right here, make a mark, and whatever this should equal this also equals this. So this top section will be the brow line, a third down. This will be the end of the nose, and this will be the base of your chin. Now, a lot of people think the hairline will begin right at the head, but your head, the skull goes back into space, so you kind of want to give a little space in between the top of the head that you drew and where your hairline will actually begin. Also, this depends on the person you're drawing. This woman looks like she has a lot of hair going up, but her hairline is, as you can see, right there. So right here, this is our brow line. You see she has arched eyebrows, so you just want to add the shape of those in here. Just for a reference, you'll go back to edit and render more properly. So now that we have these marks, you want to look at the eyes. For placing the eyes, the head is actually 5 eyes wide. So underneath the eyebrows are where the first eyes will go. But if you want to know where they should go, you could start by, say, this is the end of the face, this is our end of our face. So once you have that down, the second and fourth eye, that's where your eyes will actually lay. So now this is where typically the end of the nose goes. But you also want to remember that the indentation, I forget what they call that, the space in between your nose and your lip will also have an area for that. So for the nose is approximately from the eyes down to this second line. So some people like to draw a triangular shape for it, not an actual triangle. Or some people do the circle with the two circles next to it. Also, this is just approximately the areas where these features are, not necessarily saying the shape of them. You would have to see and look at the reference to know this woman's shape of eyes are more oval-like. Once you have where your nose is placed, you want to go down to the bottom of our face, the last third. This also can be divided into thirds, equal parts. So let's say like an inch, you want to mark that. Then either look at a tool, say your charcoal, and see where that lines up. You want to make another mark, and then this part will equal to the third part. They say that this end, the second, well, the bottom of the first section is where your bottom of the lip will go. So I'm just going to draw that in there. As well as they say the center of the eye if you make a line down the pupil, where the pupil would go, that is where the end of the mouth actually goes. So before I had my mouth too small, then you just eye it where the end of the mouth goes. This woman has actually fuller, bigger lips than a typical person might have. So just reference that in. Like I said, we'll go back and render more later. Well, this woman, her face does meet the correct proportions, but in my drawing, I drew the chin a little longer than this woman has. So I'm just going to shorten this up, square it off a little more. Back to the nose, the inner end of your eye is where your nose nostril will lay. So a line down right here, that's how far the nostril will go. A line down, that's how far the nostril will go. For ears, typically it goes in the second third of the face. Not exactly at the end. You would say a little above where the nose is. So you see your nose ends about here, so maybe just a few spaces up you would add the line for your ear. As you can see, this is where her nose ends and this is where her ear ends. So just a little above her ear, or a little above her nose, is where the ear will lay. As I was saying earlier, these areas where we're blocking in the features are not technically the exact shape, but the placement of where they would go. And now looking at my drawing and my photo reference, I see that the space I said to put underneath the nose actually goes in the bottom third. So this is where you see the nostril and the end of her nose. So I'm just going to make a little value area where I see that. Now, we'll go back to render more properly later. So now, the Cupid's bow is the area I was thinking of earlier, is the space in between the nose and the top lip. So you want to add a little area and a little space in between there. Now this is looking more proportionate to our photo reference. Once you have these main proportions down and the placement where they go, you will go back later and render more properly of what the facial features actually look like. Erase, this circle shape where her ball of her nose will go, and so on and so forth. So these are the facial proportions, so you can draw a correct portrait. and develop a true likeness of your model or whatever face you are choosing to draw.